My name is Marco. I'm a guitar player, singer, producer, songwriter, blah blah. And my main band is called Temperance. We're going to release our new album, Hermitage, Daruma Part 2, tomorrow, and I think in a few hours in Australia. So we are very excited about the album. We worked so hard on every single detail, and we really can't wait to come back on tour. I mean, we will play just one more show this year to celebrate the release of the album in Netherlands in 10 days. But then in February, we'll come back on tour in Europe, and we have tons of plans for the next year. So let's see what will happen.
Beautiful, Marco. Thanks for joining us tonight.
My pleasure.
So as you say, Temperance releases your new album, Hermitage, Daruma's Eyes Part 2 on October 20th. So tell us a bit more about the album from a musical point of view and what you were going for with it.
Since it's the first album of the band, the first concept album of the band, the songwriting process and the recording process was very, very funny and cool, exciting also. Difficult, I have to say, because when you have to follow a sort of script or a story, it's totally different. But I finished the work on the story of the album almost 2 years ago, and then I started collecting ideas here and there. But it was a very cool journey. And since in this album we have 6 characters, we decided to have 6 singers. I mean, with Temperance, we are 3 singers. And not only me, but also Kristin, female singer, and Michele. But since, as I said, there are 6 characters in this album, we have also Fabienne Erni from Eluveitie, Illumishade, Laura Fella from Faun, and Alessandro Conti from Trick or Treat and Twilight Force. And it's very cool, and it was great. And plus, as narrator on the album, we have one of my personal heroes, Arjen Lucassen from Ayreon, and we are so honored to have him in this album. I mean, it was a challenging, because for sure it was a totally different process. We changed also the way to produce the album. We work with Simone Maroni from DGM about a mix. He did the album from Michael Romeo from Symphonic or Rhapsody. And for the very first time in our career, we work for the orchestration with an external guy, Daniele Mazza from Ancient Bards. And the final result is great. I mean, it's very epic, symphonic, and I would say also dramatic.
Yeah, cool. So can you dive into the concept for us a bit deeper, so we know what to expect, know what the album's about?
The story of the concept, you said, sorry?
Yeah.
Okay, and so this is a full story based on time travel and a sort of fight between 2 brothers, Anningan, alias me, and Ayreon, alias Kristin. But the main character of this album is called Victor, and Victor is a guy from New York, and he's not completely satisfied about his life, and that's the reason why he traveled the world to reach Japan, Tokyo, to try to find himself. And there in the temple of Asakusa, and this is a real place in Tokyo, he found this small doll called Daruma. And when he found this doll and he touched this doll, he traveled into another world, another dimension, and this world is called Hermitage. In this place, Victor will meet some new friends, and he will be able to change his destiny, basically.
Very cool. And you released the singles Daruma, No Return, and Darkness is Just a Drawing. Now, I'm guessing you chose those singles for a specific reason. So can you run us through them individually and tell us why you chose them to represent the album?
I mean, for every album, it's always very difficult to try to decide a single to release, but especially for this one, because since it's a concept album, basically there is a connection between every track. So first of all, we decided to release Daruma because this is the opening track, and we thought, okay, this is the best way to introduce the album, the concept, the story. Then the second single, No Return, it's just a part of the beginning of the story, because it's the song number 5. And it's for sure also it's very catchy. but we are just at the beginning of the story. And then the last single released a couple of days ago was Darkness is Just a Drawing. And we are totally into the story. This is the song number 9. And in this album, there are 14 tracks. And this is a sort of speech between the 3 main characters. So that's the reason why we decided to release this one as last single.
Okay. And how about sonically? Like, are they a good sonic representation of the album, those 3 songs?
I think so. I mean, there are tons of different elements in this album, but yes, basically the first track is a mix between the old Temperance stuff plus the symphonic elements. Then the second is one of the most folk-oriented track of the album. And Darkness is a sort of mid-tempo ballad, but the chorus is totally Temperance. And we have these tons of vocal layers at the end of the tracks, with some solo part made by me, some solo part made by Kristin, and this one of the trademark of the Temperance history. And I think it's a good representation, but for sure, there are tons of cool surprises in the album.
So you mentioned your guest artists are Fabienne, Laura, and Alessandro. So run us through the songs that they appear on and why you chose them to represent those characters.
So basically, I think we decided to work with people of our generation, and that's the reason why basically Fabienne and Laura, we have the same age. Alessandro is a little bit older, but don't tell him. I'm just kidding. No, but I mean, they are some of the best singers in the scene right now, in my opinion. Fabienne is one of my favorite female singers out there, together with Kristin and Melissa Bonni from Ad Infinitum, for example. And Laura, she's the perfect voice for her character. I mean, I never was a big fan of Faun, I have to say, but 1 year ago I saw her in Milano, I think, with Faun, and I was quite impressed by her voice, and I decided to call her. And for Alessandro, Ale, is one of my best friends in the music business since 10 or 12 years. And I think he's still one of the best power metal singers out there, together with Tommy Johansson from Majestic, I think.
And the album also comes with a book, which is written by your good self, I believe. So tell us about that.
I mean, honestly, I wrote a story and just to write the lyrics for the album. But then when I started to talk with someone about the album, everyone suggests me to release also the book, maybe in a limited edition, something like that, because for our diehard fans all over the world could be a very cool thing to have in their collection. And I have to say it was the right choice, because I mean, I think so far the book is almost sold out. It's just a short book, but if you want to go totally into the album, you have to listen to the album with a book in front of you and follow the story, because there are 14 chapters, and for every chapter there is a song. So this is the best thing in my opinion, and it was the right choice, I think.
And is it a concept that you'll continue to explore on future albums, or does it finish here?
I don't know, because we have a sort of open end at the end of the album. So let's see what will happen. We have no plans so far, but as usual in Temperance, there's no rule at all. So maybe we'll release Daruma's Eyes Part 3. Maybe a sort of flashback in the past. Let's see.
And how does it go playing these songs live? Like, if they're on an album in chapters telling a story, like, you have to play them in chronological order for them to make sense, or do they still make sense as standalone songs?
No, I think, I mean, we'll play the next shows for sure. We'll play in 1 week in Netherlands for a festival. In February, we'll go on tour. And for the shows, we'll play just a few tracks from the album. But no, because basically every track, we can play every track a sort of standalone track. But the thing is, for the next year, since it will be the 10th anniversary of the band, we really would love to do a sort of special show and play this album from the beginning to the end. And let's see if we'll be able to do it, but maybe with a string quartet or a sort of choir, something like that, because this album is very epic and symphonic, and I think we need something more than just all 5 on stage.
Beautiful, Marco. Well, thanks very much for your time tonight, mate. The album Hermitage, Daruma's Eyes Part 2 is out October 20th, and she's a cracker from what I've heard, mate. So best of luck with it, and hopefully we'll see you out in Australia.